Coming live from our studios in Belize City, this is the evening news on Love Television for this Friday, September 2nd. And let's get started with a look at the stories making the headlines today. BDF commander speaks on latest shooting incident in Chiquibul Forest Reserve. Bus operators block terminal entrance to protest against Mexican bus operators. People's United Party calls for criminal investigation into findings in Auditor General's report, and Minister of Defense begins tour of BDF camps. Yesterday, the government of Belize issued a release in which it confirmed that a BDF reconnaissance patrol came under fire on Wednesday morning within the Chiquibul National Park. As we had reported last night, BDF soldiers were heading to the Retiro camp to do a follow-up visit to an area in close proximity to the border where some Guatemalan nationals had settled illegally. This came after an order to leave had been issued to the group of Guatemalans in June, after it was discovered that some 6 families had squatted on Belize's side of the border. They were given 7 days to deconstruct their houses and exit Belize. BDF Commander Brigadier General David Jones shared more details on what transpired on Wednesday.
When we got in there on the 22nd, we found 11 adults and 4 children, so there were only 15 people there at the time. They were given the OTL jointly with the BDF, the police and immigration was there. And the OTL only gave them 7 days to leave. So by the 29th, they were supposed to be out of there. So when the patrol went in there on Wednesday, about 200 meters or so before arriving, they came under gunfire. The patrol didn't see who they were, but the patrol returned fire in self-defense. And they waited in the area for a while afterwards just to ensure that no one was injured. First of all, from our soldiers, there was no one injured. And they went into the area to verify that they had not injured anyone. So just in case they had shot anyone, they wanted to verify. After that, the patrol retreated and they gave us the information that they came under fire. So subsequently, we sent back in a patrol. The patrol came back out. This morning, they're actually still out there, but they've verified that the people they're all gone. They've dismantled the houses, and the structures have all been removed, as well as the crops, for the most part, have been harvested.
The Brigadier General said they are not able to ascertain whether the BDF patrol was shot at by the same group of Guatemalan nationals who were told to leave. Jones says that BDF soldiers will be making frequent patrols. No military personnel has been reported to have sustained any injury, and no indication of any casualties has been discovered. With this latest incident, and given the findings of the OAS report on the death of the Guatemalan minor, one might think that the negotiations between Belize and Guatemala would be falling apart. Not so, says BDF Commander Brigadier General David Jones. He says, though, the recent atmosphere and events are not helping.
It is a difficult task to continue the negotiation under the circumstances of the stance that is being taken by Guatemala. But it's not going to affect the relationship that I have with the Guatemalan general. He's still of the opinion that things can work out peacefully. We could have an amicable solution to what's happening, and he has pledged to continue working closely with me and to find a peaceful solution to what we're trying to do. The facts are presented, and it's up to them if they want to respond to what was stated in the report. As far as I'm concerned, they're not quite happy with the report, and they would like to see some expansion on the report, but we'll wait and see what happens. But on our part, I am quite pleased and happy with what the 2 independent experts have found, and I'm quite happy and pleased to hear that they are going to also do the investigation on the shooting of Staff Sergeant Lambe and Special Constable Danny Konaki.
Today, investigators released an audio recording of a conversation that the mother of the 9-month-old child had with the man who abducted her son last week. Police are following up all leads, but they need your help to crack the case. This is why they released the audio recording to the media, for it to be broadcast and for you to help in identifying who the voice belongs to. The call lasted 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Tonight we air an edited version along with the comments of Assistant Commissioner of Police, Commanding Eastern Division Rural, Edward Broster.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Yes, I want to know how is my baby doing?
He's alright. He's okay. He's sleeping. He's okay. He's sleeping.
He's sleeping?
Yes, he's okay.
So what do you want? How is
So you don't get one now, already?
Huh?
Don't get one already?
Yes, the baby pie is coming with the money here already. I am waiting for you to give me the card.
Well, your phone have a lock screen on it, and I can't answer it. I don't see the phone the ring. It's off. So what is the phone lock screen? So I call you when I come pick up the thing.
So you
What's the lock screen?
Huh?
What's the lock screen number?
455.
455. Okay.
So
Okay.
I want to make sure that the baby, send me a picture on, I need to know the baby is okay.
The baby is okay. The baby is okay. What you say?
I need to know the baby is still alive, that he is okay, because...
Yes, the baby is alright. I'm not going to hurt your baby. I'm not going to hurt your baby. All I want is the money. That's it. Nothing else. I'll call you back when I come for the money.
But you will give me the baby when
Yes.
I give you the money.
Yes. So you already have the money already.
Okay, so can you send me a picture that you show me the baby is okay?
I cannot do that. I won't do that. The baby is okay. Trust me. The baby is eating and the baby is sleeping. The baby is laughing. The baby is okay. I'll call you back when I'm coming for the money this evening.
We have considered and decided to release a recording of one of the kidnappee, abductor, demanding payment, and we are hoping that any individual who recognizes that individual voice contact the Rural Eastern Division Police. We will be offering a handsome reward for the identity of that voice that we have released to the media so that the public can hear and assist us in identifying that individual.
Broster says that the family and the child have been moved to a secure location and are under police protection. If you have any information that can assist police, you're asked to call or visit the nearest police station. And if you would like to remain anonymous, you call 922-TIPS. Yesterday, Prime Minister Dean Barrow hosted a press conference to address the Auditor General's report done on the Immigration and Nationality Department. The Prime Minister offered his apologies to the Belizean people. He said the report paints a sorry picture, one that has legitimately alarmed Belizeans. He also spoke of the formation of a bicameral committee that will look at the findings. Today, the People's United Party is calling for a Senate inquiry and criminal investigation into the reports. On Wednesday, the motion for a Senate inquiry that was brought by one of the PUP senators was defeated. Love News spoke with Chairman of the PUP, Henry Usher.
What we witnessed yesterday was yet another act on behalf of the Prime Minister, Dean Barrow. To paraphrase a recent song, it's too late now to say sorry, Mr. Barrow. The people are demanding not only this independent Senate inquiry, but a criminal investigation into this massive scandal. We believe, and the report or the release says so, that this bicameral select committee is yet another way to just sidestep the authority of the Senate and to sidestep the Constitution. It will have no teeth, and really it's just a way of covering up what has already been done. Well, with an inquiry, you have a public record of what has happened. Remember that this Auditor General's report is a report coming out of events happening in 2011 to 2013. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, the Prime Minister got up and said, he was sorry that it occurred. But really that half-hearted apology was not about the damage done to the country, the damage done to our Belizean identity and our patrimony, but really the damage done to his party. He's not remorseful that it happened, he's remorseful that he was caught. And that is where the inquiry has to go further. We need a police investigation into this matter. It's true, the Senate passed their motion, but in reality this can still come up again. This needs to be done.
Usher stated that the investigation is necessary because what was presented in the audit report is just a fraction of investigations that need to happen at the department.
In reality, the Auditor General could not even review all of the applications for those 2 years. It was only, I believe, 3 months that she was able to review. All the other months she could not. Her mandate covered 29 months. She was only able to cover 3 months. And you see the massive corruption happening in that 3 months. What do you think would have happened if she was able to cover all 29 months, or even if her mandate extended to what is happening up to now? Because this is continuing. It's continuing under the minister, even though he gets up and tries to act sanctimonious. It is continuing right now.
The People's United Party is planning a demonstration for this coming Wednesday. The Belize Bus Owners Cooperative, BBOC, held traffic at a standstill this morning when they parked 2 of their buses across the Belize City Terminal exit. According to reports, the BBOC management has an issue with the Mexican ADO bus operators because they are picking up passengers on the Philip Golson Highway. The standoff lasted for about half an hour until the police intervened and removed the buses. Deputy Officer Commander of the Eastern Division South, Senior Superintendent Alden Dawson, spoke about the incident.
11 this morning, I was called at my office stating that there was some issue at the bus terminal with the BBOC bus drivers. I proceeded to that location, and upon my arrival I noticed that a bus was parked at the exit of the terminal and there was no driver inside the bus. I made checks, I spoke to the officers who were there, and I learned at that time that they had some misunderstanding and did not want the bus to depart the compound. I spoke to the person who was standing in front of the bus, who are employees of the BBOC, and for the most part, the majority of them cooperated and moved from in front of the bus. We had one person who we had to arrest because he was not cooperating with us, and we subsequently moved the bus that was causing the obstruction. The buses actually was 2 of them, and the bus went on its way.
One individual was detained and is supposed to be facing at least 3 charges. One of the charges is related to assaulting a police officer. Senior Superintendent Dawson spoke about the charges the individual in custody will be facing. He also stated that the police is unaware what motivated BBOC staff to act in the manner they did.
The person is in custody. I cannot remember the name, but he will be charged before the day is finished. At this time, I could look at obstruction, assault, and disorderly conduct.
Prior to today, has anybody from BBOC filed any complaint against the ADO bus, going back to the root of the problems?
Not at our station, there's no such complaint. I did not get to the root of the cars, and that was not my interest this morning. The interest was to have the traffic flow smoothly.
Is the bus company going to face any penalties?
Not at this time. We don't have anything for the bus company at this time. I don't know what was their intent. If you want to conduct a peaceful protest, then you should apply for a permit to do so.
2 of the buses were impounded this afternoon. Minister of Defense John Saldivar and his new Chief Executive Officer Felix Enriquez have begun a tour of BDF command centers and installations countrywide. On Thursday, the minister and his CEO, accompanied by BDF Commander Brigadier General David Jones, visited the BDF headquarters at Price Barracks in Ladyville. They were given a full tour of the facilities at Price Barracks, including command and training centers, living quarters, and the Forces Hospital, which is gradually being upgraded to meet NHI standards and serves the needs of BDF soldiers and personnel, as well as civilians from surrounding communities such as Ladyville and Lord's Bank. They also inspected physical damage to residences and facilities on Price Barracks caused by Hurricane Earl. The minister and his CEO later visited the BDF Air Wing near Philip Colson International Airport, as well as BDF facilities at Militia Hall on the George Price Highway near Belize City. The tour will continue to other BDF installations countrywide in order to complete their full assessment of the state and readiness of the Belize Defense Force to fulfill its various functions. A few months ago, the headline on every newscast was the issue surrounding Sarstoon Island, but recently we have not heard much about Sarstoon Island in the news. Today we got an update from Commander of the Belize Defense Force, Brigadier General David Jones, who said that everything has been peaceful so far.
Well, we continue to have unhindered access in the area. The Guatemalans have not been interfering with the BDF, and they have not been interfering with any of our civilians, which is good. And we'd like to see that continue. Just that at the end state, what we'd like is to have something in writing, something in black and white, stating what the protocol is. And as has been expressed by our Foreign Affairs, that we are hoping that that happens by December. So hopefully there are meetings prior to that we have something concrete that we have signed on to, that both Belizeans and Guatemalans has a clear understanding of what is expected in the area of the Sarstoon.
Jones also told us about an event that is to take place in Barranco Village organized by the Belize Territorial Volunteers. The Sarstoon Island Echo Challenge and Concert for Peace has been organized to provide an opportunity for Belizeans to express sovereignty over the Sarstoon Island.
I believe Mr. Wilmer here is involved in it. I hope it is not a venture to go and aggravate situation there, because things are working smoothly at the moment, and those people are quite firm about what they believe is their sovereignty, and it could be seen as a form of provocation. So we'll see how that would work out when the Guatemalans are informed about it, and to see how it happens, what happens.
That event is scheduled to take place on the 17th of September. Yesterday, Love News reported on the tense situation between the Belize Emergency Response Team BERT and the Ministry of Health. According to CEO of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Ramon Figueroa, negotiations had been ongoing for more than 9 months for BERT to acquire additional funding of $500,000 from Ministry of Health to continue its ambulance land operations. BERT representative Andre Carrillo, finance manager, told us yesterday that BERT was billing the ministry for transfer services they provide to the Carl Hughesner Memorial Hospital. Dr. Marvin Manzanero, Director of Health Services, told us that he was helping for an amicable resolution in which BERT continues operating emergency responses in Belize. At the end of negotiations yesterday, the two agencies came to an agreement that the finance officer at Ministry of Health would speak with the BERT management on Monday. Today, the ministry sent a press release stating that they have reached a temporary agreement for the next 6 months. The press release states the Ministry of Health and the Board of Directors for Belize Emergency Response Team BERT have agreed to a temporary resolution. Negotiations will continue with all involved to come to a permanent conclusion in the way forward to sustain the management and essential services provided by BERT. A formal letter of agreement was issued today by the Ministry of Health, which stipulates the Government of Belize's commitment to a grant of $45,000 per month. The grant will be for a maximum period of 6 months, while negotiations continue over the long-term financial sustainability of BERT land services. The Ministry of Health, on behalf of the Government of Belize and BERT, are committed to ensure quality emergency services continue to serve the people of Belize. The Mexican Embassy presented a donation of $50,000 to the Red Cross of Belize to assist with relief efforts for Hurricane Earl victims. Ambassador Carlos Quesnel Melendez stated that Mexico wanted to show solidarity in the aftermath of the hurricane.
The Mexican government and its private sector are supporting Belize after the Hurricane Earl effects to the population. From the Mexican government, we are delivering a check of $50,000 US to the Red Cross of Belize. We are very pleased with the work that the Red Cross has been doing here. We congratulate Ms. Lily Woman and her staff who is here. And we are also satisfied with the work that NEMO has been doing.
The ambassador also presented water tanks donated and transported by Mexican companies.
The private sector of Mexico also was part of these efforts, and yesterday we received 10 water tanks of 2,500 liters each. That means 660 gallons each one. We got 10 of these tanks worth $10,000. They are already in a facility in Orange Walk, and I know that these tanks will be distributed to the health centers through the Ministry of Health. So we want to recognize Rotoplas, the company Rotoplas in Mexico, and also Distribuidora Cuauhtémoc Moctezuma from Chetumal, who helped us with the transportation of this material into Belize.
Director of the Belize Red Cross, Lily Bowman, accepted the donation and stated that the finance will go towards the cash transfer program through which the Red Cross is helping families.
I on the ground would like to thank the ambassador so much for the assistance you're extending to our Belizean people. For Belize, this means so much because it will be able to extend more assistance to our people who have been affected. It has gone into our cash transfer program, which has been assisting families to rebuild and to fill gaps, especially in their finances, where they had to expend more than they really planned to in this time of recuperation.
The funds were transferred to the Belize Red Cross through the International Red Cross Federation. Hurricane Earl caused substantial damage in Belize. However, there was no loss of life. In Mexico, the hurricane is blamed for killing more than 50 people. Ambassador Carlos Quesnel Melendez tells us about Mexico's recuperation after Earl.
As you know, Mexico was also hardly impacted by the Hurricane Earl. We did not only have a lot of damages in many states in Mexico, but we also had, unfortunately, a lot of casualties. More than 50 people died after that hurricane. So there are efforts going on in Mexico itself for helping a lot of Mexicans there. So I'm very pleased that we could help also Belize, even though we are also facing a difficult situation in Mexico. Still, we are working on helping those affected people by Hurricane Earl.
The Belize Red Cross has been on the ground from day one, assisting victims to get back on track with their lives. Director of the Red Cross, Lily Bowman, tells us about the hurricane victims and their recovery so far.
The families affected by the hurricane have been recuperating at the best pace they can. Of course, as more support reaches out to them, it gives them more capacity to bounce back. A lot of them had been bouncing back on their own, and I'm so proud of my people to say that they have really shown a spark of resiliency in this whole ordeal. And there are others that are really, not because they don't want to, but because they really can't. And those need more of our support.
Earlier in the newscast, we told you about the 6 Guatemalan families that were told to leave Belize after they were found living illegally in the country, some 100 meters away from the Belize-Guatemala border. BDF soldiers were shot at on their way to confirm that the illegal settlers had moved, and now frequent visits to the area have been ordered. That task will be much easier with the 2 helicopters that the Ministry of National Security possesses. Today, Brigadier General David Jones gave us an update on how the training has been going so far.
Apart from the contract for our soldiers learning to fly them, learning to repair them, what the contractors have also done is deploy on operations with them already. So some of our patrols that were affected by Hurricane Earl, in particular the Cyber Chico, Rio Blanco, Machakilha, have been affected because of the trees. The soldiers weren't able to patrol in and out. The only way in was by helicopter. So the helicopters were used to insert them and extract them. So they are deploying on operations.
4 men have been charged with drug trafficking. On Thursday, Belmopan Quick Response Team conducted a search at a home on Toledo Street in Belmopan. Present at the time of the search were Jermaine Pratt, Kurt Pratt, Maxwell Pratt, and Radford Woodeye. The search resulted in the discovery of a black plastic bag under a mattress in a room which contained 56 small transparent plastic bags containing green leafy substance consistent to be cannabis. The 4 persons were informed of the offence committed and escorted to the Belmopan police station along with the suspected cannabis. At the station, the suspected cannabis was weighed in the presence of the 4 individuals and amounted to 128 grams. All 4 were arrested and charged for the offence of drug trafficking. Belizean American Kimberly Lino, a naturalized U.S. citizen whose bail of $30,000 was revoked, was released today on a bail of $30,000 that was offered to her by Justice John Gonzalez at the hearing of her reapplication for bail. The bail was offered on the condition that she surrender all her travel documents to the clerk of court at Dangriga Magistrates Court, that she reports to Dangriga Police Station every Friday, commencing next Friday, that she does not interfere with the complainant or any other witness for the prosecution, and that she attends court on all adjourned dates. Lino and 3 others were charged with aggravated burglary and harm. She was represented by Crown Counsel Renee Montero. 39-year-old Darwin Innis of Calcutta Village in the Corozal district was shot last night. Sometime before 9 o'clock last night, Innis was outside his home in the village when he heard several gunshots coming from the area of an overgrown lot. Innis later realized he had been shot to the thigh. He was taken to the Corozal Community Hospital for treatment. He was admitted in a stable condition. The annual Expo Belize Marketplace will take place over the weekend at the ITVET compound in Belize City. It is expected that thousands of Belizeans from across the country will flock to the event. Today, the Marketing and Public Relations Officer for the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Jamie Rock, told us what you can expect.
We can expect a lot of giveaways, a lot of really great prizes. A lot of the booths are having very great promotions and discounts on the things that they normally offer at full price. A lot of promotional items being given away. So when you visit a booth, a lot of the companies, they have a game you play and then you could just win something for free, whether it's an umbrella or a rag or a hat or a cup, something to help beat the heat while you're at the expo.
What would you want to say to anyone who's thinking twice in going to the expo this weekend?
Well, even if you don't come and buy something, it's good to see what new companies are out there, new products. We have really good micro businesses that offer really authentic and great quality skincare products, healthcare products. Also, you have chances to win really great prizes. You can win plane tickets, cash prizes, up to $1,500 just by coming to the expo. So there's a lot to experience and to offer.
And Rock says security will be tight for the event.
Well, the police force are going to be out there as well as the BDF force. So we're definitely covered all bases when it comes to security. So we can feel safe, the public can feel safe when they come to the expo.
Are you hoping or expecting to increase the numbers compared to last year?
Well, we're hoping for a really good turnout this year. One of the reasons that one of the things that we've tried to do is work alongside the niche so that the event.
Tickets are on sale for $5 for adults and $3 for children. In 2015, other 17,000 people visited the expo. Major events in connection with September celebration activities are taking place in Toledo. Correspondent Paul Mahong tells us about it. Sorry, we're not able to bring you that clip. Tomorrow, the public is invited to attend the annual pistol competition scheduled to take place at the Hattieville Range. For more than 2 decades, the competition has been organized by the Belize Defense Force, and BDF Commander Brigadier General David Jones told us what the purpose of it is.
The camaraderie and the relationship that we establish with our security forces within the country, be it law enforcement or just those involved in security. We get together and it helps to enforce that their weapon handling skills are up to mark. Their safety of handling weapons is up to mark, and we get to see who are the better shooters within the country.
The event is open to the public. And our thought conditioner for today is from Billy Graham. We quote it, "It is the Holy Spirit's job to convict, God's job to judge, and my job to love." This has been the Evening News on Love Television. We invite you to log on to our website at www.lovefm.com for transcripts of our news stories. Have a good evening. I am Ernesto Vasquez.